Hello boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Mr. Ryan's art class here online. I want to show you guys today how to use some paint to make yourself a planet. You're going to make your very own planet here. I thought this would be kind of a cool project to do online. If you guys have the paint, that would be fantastic project for you guys to do together here. I have a couple of tools that you need before we get started. So my materials are, first of all, white piece of paper, a white piece of paper. The thicker the paper, the better, especially when you're going to be putting paint on it. Copy paper, it'll work. It will just be, it's very thin, so you have to be really careful with it. Okay, so white paper. I also have a black piece of paper. I have cut these both into 12 by 12 inch squares. Okay, 12 by 12 inch squares. This is going to be your background paper, so we don't need it just yet. Okay, but white paper needs to be on a tray, a plate, a piece of paper on a table, something that's going to kind of protect your table as well. All right, you also need a paintbrush. You need whatever paint you're going to use. I actually have a few colors, so I have a blue, I have an orange, and I have a green here. The blue's actually glitter, which is kind of cool, and the green is a metallic, and the orange is a fluorescent orange. All right, so kind of cool colors here. I'll set these aside for now. I also am going to need either a ruler and a pencil, or I can use a compass. Now, you do not have to use a compass to make your circles and everything like that. You can use a big can and just trace around the outside of the can, and then use a smaller can or a cup to make your moons and things like that, to make all the other objects that might go around your planet. But completely up to you. It's a very, very simple process there. I want to show you guys how to use the compass though, because I love these things. All right, so first of all, first step here, I'm going to find the center of my paper. Now, like I said, it's 12 by 12, halfway at 6. All right, so there's the first mark. I'm going to turn it to its side here, and I'm going to make another mark. Now I've lined it up with the 6 that went this way, and I know that this right here is just about the center of my piece. Set my ruler aside, set my pencil aside. I don't need either of those anymore. Now this compass is really cool. It's got a sharp point here, and then it has a pencil on the other side. And what that does is it allows you to make a perfect circle on this piece of paper. I'm gonna move my tray just for a second here, because it's a little bit easier to draw my circle if I don't have the tray underneath it. You'll see why in a second. I'm going to set my needle down onto the paper there. I'm also going to move this other arm here with the pencil over to the size that I would like my circle to be. And I'm going to press it down, and I'm going to turn the paper. I'm not moving the needle. I'm just moving the paper. And if I spin this around really carefully, I can make a perfect circle. It's kind of cool. I love these things, like I said. Now, if you want to make a moon or a couple of moons that go around your planet, again, this time I'm not going to measure out. I'm just going to find a space somewhere in the corner, and I'm going to make sure that it's small enough that it's not going to be overlapping any other piece on here. But then I can do the exact same thing I did before and spin this around and make my planet. All right, so I have my planet done, and I have the moon done as well. Okay, next step, take my tray, put this back on my tray, but this time this is going to be the back of my paper here, because I want to put my paint on this side. You'll see why later on. All right, so I'm going to take my paint, and I'm going to simply put a couple of small lines in different places on this paper here, okay? I need enough to cover the whole page, and that's why I'm using multiple colors here. But I'm gonna cover different parts of the paper. All right, and my last one here, same thing. I like that fluorescent color in here because everything else, even though it's metallic, it kind of sits back a little bit and that fluorescent kind of pops. All right, so take my paintbrush and now I'm just gonna color the entire paper. I'm gonna fill that entire paper so there's no white anymore. And I'm simply going to grab some paint and start wiping it across, back and forth, all the way to the edge of the paper. This is why I said if you have a tray or something that goes down to keep your table safe, that would be good. I'm gonna wipe, and you wanna wipe across, up or down, across, diagonal, it's completely up to you, but you wanna wipe across because you can get these nice little like lines in here. And I'll show you why once I get my other page here, finish this up. All right. And that is the first step. You set this aside, you kind of let it dry a little bit, okay? I already have one that's finished. It's almost like a cooking show. I have this one that I've been working on, and I have this one that I've already finished. It's out of the oven. My other one is dry, so I'm gonna set this aside. And here is the one that I worked on earlier. All right, so it's all dry and ready to go. And all I'm gonna do, flip it over. You guys can see I did my big circle. I also did a couple of moons on here. And I'm gonna take a pair of scissors and I'm gonna cut this out. Super easy. Follow my line that I made. I'm just gonna cut this bad boy out. Now you wanna be careful and make sure all of it is dry. I missed a spot, missed a couple of spots now that I feel it. All right, you wanna make sure the whole thing's dry, and it's okay. So it is ready to go. I'm just gonna be extra careful with it. All right. Now when I flip this over, you'll see why I said you wanna make those lines in the paper there. You wanna make those lines straight across, all right? Because it'll make a really cool looking final product here. So I flip this over and I got my planet ready to go. It almost looks like clouds or storms on the planet. It's really cool. I'm gonna set this aside. Do my moons really quick. They're gonna be really similar to my planet there. I'll just work on one right now here. All right, there's that one. And there you go, little tiny planet there, little tiny moon. Throw out your scrap, you don't need it. And then you're gonna get your black piece of paper. And your last step will be to glue this piece down, all right? So I'm going to grab some glue here. And I'm using just a simple glue stick. You don't need to use anything really crazy. Just a nice little glue stick here, all right? Off of the black paper, I say this to all of my students all the time, never glue anything on the final paper that you're gonna put it on. Because if I put this glue down and I can see it around my planet, I got a problem. All right, so I'm gonna glue all the way around the outside a couple of times. And then I like to make an X in the center here. Kind of helps everything stick on, okay? So ready to go. This time, instead of putting it right in the center like I did before, I'm gonna find my favorite way to turn this, right? I like it like that, maybe angled a little bit. See the lines going diagonally there. And I'm going to press this down. Press it down, hold it nice and steady. and let it dry just like that. Same deal with the planet, or with the moon here. Come around, glue this, fill that in right on the edge, and there you go. Now if you have a white crayon or a white colored pencil or something like that, you can always come in and draw some stars on here. I just really love how this ends up looking. I love this project. It's a fun one, especially when you get to finally see what your colors look like at the end. I didn't realize with the blue, the green, and the orange, it would come out with some brown colors in here. Almost looks like a desert storm, sort of. It's kind of cool. But that's the project. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with this. And as always, keep making art. Bye.